I think we're live now. Hello, folks. How are you doing? It says we're live, but we're in our own little world over here. So, how y'all doing? Good to see you. It is Tuesday, so it is a second look. My lovely co-host, Miss Trina, is back, and so we'll have a great time today. Hello, Trina. How you doing, dear?
I'm wonderful. How about you, Wayne?
Any better, I'd be guilty. But then again, I was never that innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Famous line. And I'm looking at the chat room. Hello, chat room. Hello, moderators. Where did that line, what movie did that come from? Let's see if anyone can get it. So we'll do the Jeopardy thing.
Yep.
Does anybody know where that line comes from? I don't think they know.
I don't think I do.
Okay, well, I'll tell you where that line came from. That was Bud Fox being played by Charlie Sheen in the movie Wall Street.
Ah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So there we go, folks. You had the chance.
Charlie Sheen. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I really like Charlie Sheen. I really do.
I met them a couple times. I met Dad and the sons.
Emilio? Excellent. Excuse me.
After our fancy bar thing, they had a few celebs there.
I'd like to have talked to Charlie and Emilio. They did that movie Working Men. Great movie. I mean, it never got critically acclaimed, but it was just a good movie to see these two brothers. They did in Young Guns, but this one here was a totally different thing. So anyway,
I've never been like a huge movie person or a sports fan or nothing. And I've always had occupations that put me around celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Like I worked on a golf course for 9 years, it's just, they're there. So it's so funny. It's like, I'd see these celebrities all the time and I didn't know they were celebrities. And it was just funny because I think that's why we became such good friends, because I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. I worked in the film industry for nearly 20 years and, so anyway, I took a film class and studied Alfred Hitchcock. And Alfred Hitchcock was a very interesting mind, very much into the occult. His movies, many of you've seen Psycho, The Birds, North by Northwest, played by Jimmy Stewart, and forget who the gal, but anyway, Alfred Hitchcock had a particular way of how he saw reality. And in the class, we studied his notes, and he said in there that the average person views the world within the confines of basically a 2x3 box.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah.
I
can see that.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's what the concept. It's like it's so hard to get out of your own shit because you're in it. Can't see it.
To
break is getting out of your own box. It's super hard.
You know what set me free?
What?
Seriously, and I'll share this. Hello, Kent Cook. How you doing, my friend? He knows who Hitchcock. There you go. See that? That's a sign of intelligence.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the rest of you aren't, but I studied film, and film is really cool. I mean, if you've ever had to actually produce an actual video that broadcast, you'll find out. Anyway, I digress.
Film's powerful. It's so powerful.
It's interesting because you begin to understand how easily people are manipulated in their perception of reality.
Yeah.
You
learned about putting the subliminal drops.
It's true.
Profound. People don't realize that this is the most powerful programming we have on the planet is the black box.
Who was it? Carrie Coffey. I mean, I loved how she said it. It's the programs.
Kelly.
Yeah.
I love her. I've been watching her. I don't know how we find the same people. It blows my mind.
Well, because
I love Kelly.
Draw. Hello there, Twisted Isby. We're drawn to one another.
Yeah,
we really are.
Just like magnets.
It's
Yeah.
true. The polarization is even in the spirit realm. Someone asked me recently, they said, well, how did you get free of the fear of death? The heaven hell construct. And it's very simple. I mean, if you think about it, those two paradigms, if you're going to hell, you would be going to hell because you're imperfect. But the thing is, if you're living in this plane, this corporeal, temporal realm, everything is flawed. Every human being is flawed. Every person has flaws in your personality, in your body. One breast is not hanging right. You don't have the asymmetry, right? Women, I know what I'm talking about here. And it's nothing. And the reason why I know this, because being around actresses, it becomes really very focused in on what their world is. If you have a blemish on your face and you are, for instance, in the as a model, it'd be devastating. My point is, we're all flawed, and when you realize that, so what are you being punished for?
Right.
I'm being punished because I'm imperfect, but I was made imperfect because I lived in an imperfect world. But I look at it, Trina, I think we deserve gold stars because think how we adapt in this realm. In an imperfect realm, how many of us have adapted so excellently?
I mean, think about it. When we're born, Wayne, if we don't have people to help us, we'll die. I mean, we are so wiped clean, helpless, or we don't even know how to operate our physical bodies yet. It's crazy, the journey of birth and death on this planet. It's profound.
It makes you wonder what's going to be waiting for us on the other side.
I think brownie points for those who seek and those who are selfless beings. I think they're going to have a really wonderful experience because you're going to be magnetized to those higher realms. And those who don't, who are running different paths, are going to go in alignment with people who think like they do.
That's how it's going to be. I'm convinced of it.
I'm positive it works that way because I've seen it my whole life.
So speaking of birth, little update since the visitation I had. In my times of meditation, I purposely have 2 times during the day that I just take out an hour, and that's what I do. I meditate, and a lot of times I go traveling. And I started getting, Trina, just glimpses of this room. The room had a weird light to it, but I could tell that it was all green tile. The tile seemed to go all the way up to the ceiling, and I kept seeing this, and it kept getting more profound, more profound. And then I knew what was happening here. I was realizing this was the first thought that came to me when I was born.
Yeah,
And
the
it's
first
in,
image.
pardon?
The first image.
The first image and the first thought, and I wrote it down. You know what I said? What I thought?
What?
I made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here. Wow.
Now you want to find out some synchronicities here. So I know where I was born in Illinois. I know exactly where the hospital was. What's interesting, my wife worked in that hospital when she first became a nurse. So talking with her, giving the description, she said, wait a minute. She says, what you're describing is the delivery room at the hospital that I was born at.
Yep.
And she went on to tell me, she said, and the way you're describing it is how a baby would come out of the mother's cervix, coming out.
Tilted and face up. And
Exactly. So this for me is profound because you and I've talked about this, and I'm on the record. I just never, I don't have memory. My earliest memories were from about 2 years old. But Trina, weird, but
yeah, we have access to memories of all of it. It's all been recorded in our causal body, and you have access to those memories and those those times, and you can see them anytime
Oh,
if you can get into that moment. Like I said, you were tapping into that moment and you were getting into it more and more until you could grasp it. And then Lynn helped you put the pieces together of what this place was. And then it all just snapped into focus. And now you got it.
clear as a bell.
Yeah. So now you'll probably travel to some other time.
Looking forward to it. I mean, and she explained to
Absolutely.
me what the light was. Back
Mhm.
in the day, I was born in 1955. So
Mhm.
when you went into an operating room or delivery room, if that would be the case, the lights were a different type of light. And the way that they were recessed on the ceiling is because everything was, in fact, this pale green tile.
Wow.
And that's how operating rooms were. And she said, what you were seeing, because the light was focused on my mother's cervix, obviously delivering me.
Yes. Yep.
Man, I got to tell you what.
Profound, right?
Well, it's very profound because it is. It's part of our existence,
Yeah.
you know?
Like,
Yeah. So
that's how we time travel through. It's through memory.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think once you can start to get into cellular memory, then you can get into the different dimensions, and you can get into the different um, past, present, futures. You can see all of it.
Now you remember before you were actually born, right?
Yeah.
That yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep. And then as a small child, I could be bouncing between dimensions like all day long. It was natural for me to be bouncing between the dimensions.
Wow.
It was just natural. I didn't know any different.
I don't know. Is it because that Julianne Payne says indeed cellular memory, and we've done a study on that. I think we're going to get back into that because there are keys for people here.
Powerful, powerful keys. This is where all the things in your life that keep you stuck or held back, these patterns that are in your system that you have no reasoning for them, that you're like, why are they there? They make no sense. This is why, because it's hidden within the cellular memory. So it's probably not from this lifetime. But if you can get into the way I help my clients find this pattern is simply by saying, when have I felt like this before? And let your mind take you there. When have I felt like this before? Go deeper. When have I felt like this before? Those emotional charges are your keys to those visions, because
Mhm.
that's how we connect them. It's through emotion. When have I felt like this before?
People are writing, and boy, this really makes sense.
Mhm.
That the light would be the light we are seeing at the end of the cervix.
Yeah.
It's the light that we would. Oh, now this is very profound. You see, this is why I love this group. Hey, Cass, how you doing, sweetheart? And Miss Karen with Queen of Courts, she'll be on tomorrow. You see, this is profound. You think about the metaphorical picture here. When you die, they say walk towards the light.
Yeah.
However, we've already done that.
Yeah.
We walked through the light, which was actually that birth canal,
Yeah.
coming out of the tunnel of light into this reality.
I think it's double light. When you die, you go into a different kind of light, because
That was
I've
Hadley
seen
who said that.
I've seen the planning of our incarnations. So we plan these things out. So there must be an in-between time where you do your planning. And then when you're born, you go through the tunnel of light again, like you said, through the vagina. Out.
Isn't it odd, though, that I came up with that thought? I made it. But
No, no,
doesn't it make sense, though?
it totally does to me. Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's like, I
Yeah.
just, folks, I am just bearing it out exactly how it came to me. It was like,
It's so funny. It's see, Wayne, like I was kicking and screaming trying to come in, and you were like, oh, I made it. And see the different perspectives?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Totally
mean,
different perspectives. Yeah. And that is freaking amazing.
I think that if we could break through, the risk, I think, of coming through is enormous.
I think so. I
Yeah,
think so. I
I
knew that.
mean,
I knew that the risk of coming into this place was huge,
yeah.
huge, because you can get wrapped up in it. You can die. There's all kinds of stuff that can happen.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's fraught with peril from the
Yes,
moment the process starts.
yes,
How do you love that term?
I love it. I'm like, that is perfect.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
know, but it really is.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I buy into the fact that we choose our parents. I mean, listen, folks, for me, it's a breakthrough, Trina, the fact that I had that moment of clarity of thought of that, I guess, when consciousness hit me in this realm.
I literally saw my parents having sex, and they were amongst others. I literally had to choose. I had to choose
Uh,
my parents. But that was literally what I saw. I don't know if it works that way for everybody, but I literally did pick my mom and dad.
yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
did.
That
Yep,
it's so true, folks. I mean,
I totally did. And it's so crazy too. And now I can see why.
didn't you have a patient who was remembered his or her? I think it was maybe her, or maybe she remembered her parents having sex before she was born,
Mhm.
and it really pissed her off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
and then the one you told me about that was so mad at their mother because they got
yeah,
pictured while they were having sex. Oh man,
yeah.
that was some funny stuff right
Uh,
there. I was like, I could totally get, yes,
yeah,
totally makes sense. It's like, because we're bouncing in and out of the body of our mother before we actually come in. It's
yeah.
like you're going in between the dimensions, and you're in the higher dimensions more than you're in the lower. But like I said, you bounce in and out. And like I said,
That has to, and I'm sure we can progress back that. I mean, we've had a number of guests on here that have shown that we can access these records. I believe now that they actually do exist. I mean,
yes.
yeah. I wonder how many of us really would want to know, though.
It's hold on one second, Wayne. I got something on the stove going
Yep.
crazy.
It is a question. Someone says, Infinite and Freaky, my question too. I'm trying to check in here, and it's like walking in the middle of a, okay. Love the conversation. Indeed. So that is a question for all of us to think about. If you could have memories accessing in that development time. Hello, my dear.
Oh my God, I had to add some water to that immediately. I was like, whoa, I'm doing
That could have been an experiment in physics,
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. How could we
Yeah.
have not the not so good kind?
Exactly. But it's so true. I mean, I wonder how many of us have had trauma. I mean, you think about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
The trauma that comes out of people from their cellular memory is big. It's big. It's huge.
Yes. People
It's huge.
say,
It'll
think about
transform your life.
C-section babies.
Yeah, it'll transform your life, because when you can go through these things and see them, um, you bring in your higher self, which is literally, it's godlike. It's super, super smart. And you process it with this own part of your higher self. And through this process, you get to see, like, it'll show you how it's affected you, all the things it's done. It's like you gain this understanding that's beyond words, like the downloads, kind of the same, but it's coming from your own self. And when you gain access to these traumas and these memories, then you can put them together and make sense out of them. And it doesn't change any of the information, but now you see it from a different position. So your brain can't run the same neural pathways that it used to, which was based on an emotional negative charge, trauma of some type. And once you have this perspective shift in your brain, it won't run down those trauma lines anymore. So the information now has just turned into gnosis,
Yeah.
but it has no emotional charge over you anymore. it can't affect you anymore. It's literally like you become bulletproof to it.
Bingo. Bingo. I mean, and that is, I believe, the step that every healer has to ascertain. You have to.
Got to get to that transfer. You've got to get to the alchemy. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I mean, I don't get upset when people say anything about me because I realize that we're all flawed.
Yeah.
And for me to criticize another person, and I used to be that way, and what
we're trained to.
Yeah. And the thing, what I was just not, when I finally, what broke me of that is when, and then this is what people, I didn't finish earlier. I literally wrote down all of my negative traits.
Mm-hmm.
And I forced myself. It was an afternoon of agony.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not fun.
No, that's
That
what I'm
broke
saying.
me the habit of ever criticizing someone again. I mean, and we all do. We still do it. It's a natural program, but when you can, yeah.
But, and the key is, like I said, to forgive it.
Bingo.
Go through that list and start knocking those suckers out, man. Check that one out.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
I have a list of attributes that are great traits.
Yes.
They have been with me since the essence of my existence.
Yes.
And the love that I have now is the fact that I can see any individual with that beautiful trait that they have.
Yes.
I mean, every one of us are beautiful souls.
Oh,
Just want someone to say, hey.
Yeah, so precious.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And every single one is so unique. And that is such an amazing, beautiful, beautiful gift.
It really is.
It's our superpower. They've used diversity to divide us and pin us against each other because they know it's our strongest asset.
I'm going to bring out the book. It's in my library, John G. Lake, and we're going to do a book review because John G. Lake was faced with an interesting situation that we are today with this coronavirus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And John G. Lake realized, now he had a belief that you had to walk in love, that perfect love casteth out fear, that where love is, nothing evil can exist. Now, he was a doctor and he worked on a mercy ship right off the coast of Libya when they were experiencing a bubonic plague outbreak.
Oh, yes. And
he freaked the doctors out that were there on the boat because he took some of the bloody froth of a patient they brought in, which was loaded with the plague.
Yep.
And as they took a sample, when it hit his hand, and he said all he did was think about love.
Yeah.
Jesus, the love that Jesus has for all of us.
Yep.
That plague died.
Yeah, because of his belief. That's what I mean. The power of our belief is it breaks matter apart in its laws and its physics, completely breaks them apart. I've seen this happen over and over. But boy, you gotta make sure your belief is you gotta know it.
Exactly. You say it always so time. You can believe in something, but when you know something,
know it.
Gotta know belief ain't got nothing to do with it, baby. We so far past belief.
The belief gets you there, but it does. You have to anchor that belief into a foundation, and that foundation is knowing. So they need each other, but it ends with I know. The
flying monk of the 16th century that was written about so often, he knew he could fly.
Yep.
It wasn't a question for him. Many shaman, there's stories down in Mexico of I think it was the Aztecs, that had the ability to fly.
I'm certain of that.
But it was up here.
That's what I mean. And I think when I was little, when I jumped off the roof because I knew I could fly, I think that if
you were close,
worked at it, I think I probably could have learned to fly.
Yeah. What is the and I know anyone can look this up, the Flying Witch. She's been
Yeah.
filmed in San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles. This is, and I don't know if it's a witch. I don't know if it's a hooded figure of what's underneath that hood, but yeah.
I don't either, but yeah, that is some creepy stuff. It's like, wow.
I mean, I want to understand how they're doing that, because that is a wizard or a witch or sorceress of
Great.
great power, great power.
Yep.
We got a guest coming on Friday, Trina, Orly, and I'm reading her book, and it's a very, very intense read. It really is. But she brings out some really interesting points about the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
I heard recently there is, and I had never thought about this, but what if the gods are pissed off at us and they're just ignoring us?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the evidence would be more into that line, because there was a time in our past where gods were very much interacting with us.
Yes. Yes.
Don't know where this came from, but I think, yeah, I do, because I think you can call upon spirits to help heal. That's one thing Lilith taught me.
You know, the thing I wondered with that same concept is that, the gods created us, these human avatar bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I've always been told that was the whole sin thing, because something was stolen, like something was taken without permission. So that was the sin thing, was because it was messed up because it wasn't in its fullness. So there's error codes in it, but the error caused duality, and duality, they let it run its course. But with these changes that we've had,
Can I share something with you?
I think we're the gods. I think
we
that
are.
was their punishment for creating us, was that they had to fractal and become what they made.
Two things back that up. For all the Christians that listen, just go to the book of Psalms, Psalms 84. You'll find out that the Elohim have been judged just like us.
Yeah.
They're going to die just like us. But here's the other thing. When you look at that, it makes a lot of sense that I say that they left. And
I think they got cast into their own creation.
yeah.
I've always seen that. I don't know if it's right. But...
Well, I contend that you can call upon the spirits. I believe that they can help many times in curing things. I mean, that's what alchemy is.
And Wayne, I think that's why certain people can receive certain healings and certain stuffs, because I think it's in their cells from the gods. They're connected to that. And that's why some people are super drawn to certain entities or beings, is because that's part of their family. So you have access to that power through your ancestry. I
absolutely agree with that.
Yes, it always seemed to me, it's like, this is all about cell communication, cellular communication. And the cellular communication is multidimensional.
It seems more and more that way, doesn't it? It just leads into a lot of thought. I see today, go ahead, hon.
No, it does lead to a lot of thought, but it leads to a lot of potential too.
That's why I'm saying here, in 1969, we had the Summer of Love. And I'm asking, and it was a great time. I was 14. I remember that. And I remember my aunt and uncle taking us down to Hyde-Ashbury and the People's Park. And I remember the flower children.
Wayne, I was created in that Summer of Love.
You see, that's my point. And may have tripped upon your parents there,
I'm telling you, that's so funny.
And it was cool because I loved those people. I was an impressionable teenager, and I had two very cool, an aunt and uncle that were really turned on at that time.
Mhm.
So my point is, and look about that followed me all through my youth. I mean, the peace sign, to me, it was about peace between you and I. I don't know you, but I can say peace.
Yeah.
And you were created in the summer of love.
Yeah. Well, 1970, I was right in that
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad just got home from Vietnam and he met my mom and it was game over.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So why couldn't we start a movement of calling 2020 the summer of healing?
Oh, we can. Let's do it.
It's not that hard. And you know how we do this? And every message that you send in a text, make sure you send a flower.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Doesn't require anything, preparation or nothing. Just that when you send a text, you just send a flower and start letting people know in social media that if you get a flower, the flower is to remind you that this is the summer of healing.
Yeah. Right on.
I mean,
It's powerful.
true.
It's powerful.
Yeah. I think that
This is how we
Paul
anchor.
said, look at there, Paul did it already. Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
And Sherry, there you go as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is, Kirk. It's flower power of the healing kind.
Yes. Think about it. All of our healing medicines typically come from the flowers.
From the flowers.
One of
That's
the
what.
most highest frequency healing flowers is the rose.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How beautiful.
Yes. It's got a very, very high frequency. White lotus, I think, is the highest.
Love it, love it, love it. Folks, if you really want to do us honor on it, spread it on your social media. Start making it every time you text, send a flower.
Yeah.
And pass it on.
Yeah.
We can change things. And that is a trigger. I think that where people can begin to consciously going, someone just sent me a healing flower.
Absolutely. Instead of focusing and sending out all this crap,
Yeah.
start spreading some joy. This is the biggest counterattack we could ever do. Wayne, you're brilliant.
Well, I just saw your countenance just increase tremendously. It was
Brilliant.
Physically, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
I
getting
literally
it?
just saw this is the most powerful way to counterattack what's happening right now. That is just brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. That's
Well,
how we win.
It came from my morning session of my visits. By the way, I want to keep that point. I got to say this to Karen. I'm in a place in my dreams now. We were building a golem last night.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't going so well. It's complicated, but I swear I'm with a group of people and we're trying to figure this out. But anyway, I digress. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Building a body.
Literally, we're building a body.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Heard. I'm like, that's interesting.
It's very interesting. And if you got any insights, let me know. But there's a couple of other people here. There's a couple of other people that I'm working with. Very weird. Anyway, the flower power is catching on. Folks, I tell you, this is something that this group can give to the rest of the world. If you're on Facebook, do it. If you're on that, start sending the flower. And I tell you, we can change things.
Yes, we can. And it's so beautiful. I was always told to do this it's so simple. The simple things are going to be the most powerful and the most effective. So I always told me, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. And
that keep it simple, honey, because that's how it's going to stay on track. He's like, devil is in the details. Keep it very simple. That way it can't be altered through the misinterpretation of details. I was like, that makes sense.
As Geraldine, the late Flip Wilson, would say, "You betcha, honey, this is going to work."
Yeah, it's like I said, it's so
Send
simple.
a flower. Send a flower to your brother, your lover.
That's why it's brilliant. I was like, holy moly, Wayne, that's just
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, someone's speaking to us in the group. I mean, this came today from my morning. And look at someone got it there. Geraldine, yeah. Go and check it out on YouTube. Go check the old Flip Wilson show. You'll love it. Yeah, Geraldine. That was his drag character he made, but she was funny. She'd tell you. She'd tell you straight.
Yep.
Don't you be using that language around me.
I love it.
Anyway, I digress. All right, the flowers are flying. And when you leave here, tell the other chat rooms. Listen, we can be a part of something huge here, Trina.
We really can, because see, this is how you win. Everybody's being fed a real big fear program right now. And we're like, yeah, we're going to send
exactly.
This is, like I said, this literally would be the definition of what the Lord showed me as being the antivirus.
Love it. I love it.
This is how it's done. And you nailed it with the simplicity of it, the beautiful intention of it. It's really hard to screw that one up, So that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
brilliant. It's brilliant in its simplicity. It's brilliant.
We got to remind ourselves of this. I like that KISS principle.
It is. It's very important. He said that's what your greatest obstacle will be, because we've been so taught to put things in boxes. And, you must be in the same belief system for everybody to work together. That's a trap.
It is.
So, that's why he said, heal the water, the world, heal the water. He's like, nobody really has a problem with water. They have a problem with love. They have problems with this. They have problems with that. He says, water, it's so neutral. And he said, it's in everything. So, he's like, keep it simple. And those will be the most effective ways to do it, is through the simplicity.
I love this.
Oh, that makes sense.
I love this. I mean, it's far out. I mean, you think about it. And you're right. It is so simple.
And it's supposed to be. Yeah. That's, he told me, he says, God never wants to trick you.
Why would he?
No, there's no reason, right? Exactly. Why would he?
Why would it? Why would she?
That's what and well, for me, God is male, female. It's one, and that one has both. So that's just my many years of climbing up the ladder to where I'm at now.
Are flowers male and female?
Well, I think so.
I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
You think of something like a sunflower.
Yeah, and they have a stamen, and then they have the pistil. Yeah, and yeah.
I think this is getting more beautiful as we go on this thing. I love this. Wow. Both the masculine and the feminine at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
I love the summer of love.
Yeah, God has to be both. We have no creation in this without both. So it's both.
Yeah.
It has to be both.
I'm digging this. And those of you who have teenagers, tell them this is something they get. The thing I'm finding interesting about the youth, and they're I wouldn't want to be in their world, what they're going to be growing up in, but there is a larger and larger segment I'm finding. They want to do something. They want to make an impact.
They do. They really do.
I think this is a way for them. They could start doing this in the schools, and it's so non-controversial.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, because a lot of these kids are trying to embrace that flower power energy with these raves, these big concerts and these big events that they're holding. And their totem thing is like plur, peace, love, unity, revolution or something. So it's plur is their thing, and they're kind of pushing a lot of that. And when you look at these new like these EDC groups with these kids, Wayne, they have Alan Watts playing in the background.
Do they really now?
Oh yeah, there's and the lyrics are off the hook. If you listen to this stuff, it's mind-blowing. These kids are deeply into the occult. And they're pushing the positive end of it, most of them.
Outstanding.
It's amazing. I mean, some of this stuff grabs a hold of me, and I'm like, whoa. And it's like this one song, it's called Overthinking by IZO, I think. And the whole song is done with Alan Watts, and he's talking about overthinking, the chatter in your mind, and da, da, da. It's amazing. And it's one of the most popular ones with that group of kids. They love that song, and it's Alan Watts is in it.
I love this.
Amazing.
You know, and it is the way of the universe. No matter how dark the horizons may be, there is always the spark of humanity that will shine through it.
Yes.
What we do.
Yes. We are
And
love at our essence. We're love.
I love this. I mean, people are saying we impact everything with every
love,
thought.
we evolve. Think about
Yeah.
it. Flip around the word love. It's evolve.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's it. Love is evolution. So the more we can learn to love is the faster we will evolve.
Well, pass this on to the youth folks. Those of you who have kids that are in that age, this is something.
All of you, if your kids are listening to the EDC music and you want to connect with them and blow their mind, go on YouTube and find Overthinking by IZO, I think is what it is, and listen to it, and then play it and then send it to your kids. They'll be like, whoa. Yeah.
I remember that lecture though, Val. I have his whole library.
Oh, I love Alan Watts.
Alan did so much. When I broke free of the God spell, Christianity, Alan Watts was there to catch my consciousness because my reality had shattered.
Yeah.
You know, spending nearly 50 years in a religion.
Yeah.
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 I never did the religion thing. I always had my own personal relationship with the Lord. And he told me never to do that.
Oh, yeah, because it's the ultimate.
Bad. Yeah, he said it would ruin my brain. He said it would take my memory away from him. He warned me. He says that will mess you up. He's like,
well, it makes you angry.
It does. And it was so funny too, because and then as I got older, he had to teach me about the Jesus trap, because I was starting to turn him into the church thing. And he's like, that's not what I am. You know better. And I was like, you're right. I do know better.
Someone wrote me.
Someone smacked me upside the head. And then, and then you get back to the truth of it. And it's like, Wayne, this is what I'm telling you. This is part of our blood. This is our family. These are not, you don't worship these beings. You honor them as you would your wife's grandfather, because they know more than you do. And let me tell you, you're real honored to sit down and have a conversation with these brilliant parts of your ancestry.
Trina, my soul will bear witness on this. Literally, that was the discussion I was having in my astral travel this day. You see, I know that there is something greater than even God in the concept. I want to share this. This is freaking me out in a way, because I was next to it, and I told it, I said, I am grateful for my consciousness. And I said, I am a soul that has learned to live in an attitude of gratitude. I said, I see no reason to worship you, but I said, you know what? I bow my knee before you.
Yeah.
In honor, in respect, in gratitude.
Yeah. And gratitude is the gratitude you feel. Isn't it off the hook?
Yeah. I mean, you just,
look.
Yeah.
And it's not about worship. It's about, I thank you. I love you. My heart is open to you in celebration and rejoicing the beauty of your light and your consciousness. And thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's beautiful. And it's one that someone wrote me and said, I heard when you said that there was no way Jesus could have ever been a Christian. And I got a couple of emails. And anyway, there was apparently a pastor that heard me on, I don't know why he was there, but it infuriated him.
Yeah.
He went and checked.
And it's true.
It is true.
Absolutely.
He would have rejected the religion outright.
The one I know, there was no Christianity involved. He told me never, ever go to that place. He says it will ruin you.
It's a message of love. That's all it was,
And it was about reconnecting your body to wholeness, which is divine, masculine, feminine, operating in balance.
Isn't that healing?
Yes.
Yeah, it is the ultimate healing.
Right. And that's what he was
Yeah,
teaching.
yeah.
Teaching it's inside of you. Don't look out. The opposite of Christianity. If you were like looking to him to save you, he'd be like, oh, you fool, faithless, worthless fool. Have you not learned anything I've talked to you about? This is about your own work, dude.
I tell you, when I broke free of that, there are some great books out there. There's one called The Magic Mushroom in Christ.
Yeah, I
And
totally resonate with that.
yeah, I read that and
Mhm.
whoop,
Yeah, big time. That's
and
more close to what he was like.
I do
For real.
believe, I do believe, I do believe, I do believe. Yep.
How do you think he learned a lot of this stuff, Wayne?
Yeah. I mean, you can't say that he came with the complete,
No, he
download at
came with some
birth.
extraordinary power because he was
Yes.
genetically modified. But he had to learn how to use these things, and no one around him was frequency vibrating at the rate he was, because I think of his genetics. I think a lot of the junk that we got installed was removed from him. I don't think he was added. He was literally taken
I
away.
agree. I agree. I absolutely do agree. I think there have been several of his line, his lineage, that has come to the seat of mankind.
Yes.
Oh, listen,
In abundance.
yeah, yeah,
In abundance.
yeah.
Yep.
Because you find the message wherever you go in the world.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do. You find the message is that it's not once I think, what did Christ say? He said, you have to love yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the foundational stone.
That is the foundation. You can't do it criticizing.
About that. Yeah, it's the foundational stone. And that's what he would tell me. He says it all starts with the love that's inside of your own heart. If you
Yes.
can't activate your trifold flame, that's why he was always pointing at the heart. He was like, if you can't activate that, he's like, you can't do nothing for anybody else, specifically not for your own self. He says that's where it all starts, because that's your magnetic force that commands the universe around you. It's through that activation in your feeling, because when you feel it. You're like, oh, I know. That's a feeling, that's a force. And that force is, wow.
I think it can protect you.
Oh, yes, it can.
I've read some stories in two incidents in the Civil War and another story in the World War II. One platoon, particularly in World War II, the platoon leader had those people read the 91st Psalm.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that was in his platoon,
Yep.
and every one of them came out alive.
Is that when you put on the full armor of God?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Yep. And that is straight up true, because if you remember, I saw us putting on golden helmets and golden armor. And it was like, when we decided to put this armor on, game over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
game over.
You can say what you want, but those men came through Normandy unscathed. In fact, it shows you the power of belief, particularly in groups.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does.
And that's what I mean. Like I said, the masters, they've done a lot of these amazing things, and they've broken these laws of physics before our eyes. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of years of mastery. But this stuff happens like almost instantly when you get together in groups.
It does.
It's crazy, the power of it.
And you see it demonstrated so often, even in the singleness, where a mother will see her son trapped under a car and literally lift the car up exactly as though it was nothing.
Nothing.
That is the force we're talking about.
Yeah. Wayne, I ran through a wall of fire a couple years ago, and I didn't burn a singe of hair on my head. How could I go through 7 foot wall
exactly.
and not burn my hair? I didn't even singe an eyebrow.
Now, what did you absolutely knew you were going to be fine, right?
I didn't even, I knew that was the fastest option to the hose. So I literally went shield up, go. I don't even think. I'm just like, this is what needs to be done. I trust that
Yeah.
I won't get hurt. I know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it. And then I slammed the door because I ran out, and my daughter slammed the door behind me so the fire didn't come into the house more than it already was. And then literally she thought about it for just a second, and she opened that door and she ran right out behind me. She didn't singe one hair on her long golden red head either.
I love it.
Not one. And we ran through a wall of fire.
You see, that's what makes us, I tell you, I think that's why the aliens look at us. I mean, we have the ability to become the super race, I guess, the species. I don't know.
I think we
Oh,
were
man.
literally created that way.
Mm, mm,
And,
mm,
and
mm.
a lot of our abilities have been, lying dormant within us through what
Yeah.
they've done to the genetics. But for whatever reason now, these things have the ability to come back online.
So I'm so grateful for our hour, each week is that we can discuss. These are things that if people will apply these principles, they'll change their lives.
Absolutely.
I am changing each day. I'm seeing it.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, the traveling now, the inner perspectiveness, the opening of memories. I mean, I got to tell you, I had tears when I finally realized that was me coming into this realm. I mean, the first thought, I made it.
Yeah.
It sounds like me.
And me, I was like, oh shit.
I was like, wow. It's like, woof, right there,
It's amazing.
It's and then love just fills you. I mean, someone asked me, he said, well, why aren't you afraid of, demons and what have you? Number one, understand, folks, demons merely means divine ones.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And if I have love in my heart, favor, I love that. You said we have to get a t-shirt on that. Someone need to design one so we can get it. Favor is the flavor.
It is.
That is a shield.
People need to understand too. The demons that you see are only the demons that are within you.
They may have a different look, but
The bottom line is it's truly a part of you.
it is. I mean,
With that, if you can truly understand that, you don't fear that which you are. You embrace that which you are, and you make it behave.
Why would I be afraid? Isn't that a form of bigotry?
It is, because it's part of you. Anything that shows up, typically, most often, anything that's going to show up that's going to be any kind of a problem for you is because it's yours. Other stuff that gets sent your way that's not of you, that's so easy to get rid of because it has nothing to get
I
hold of.
love this.
But if it's yours, it's going to give you some shit.
Yeah.
So you can't be afraid of that. You got to get ready to face. I call it embracing my bitch. and I do. I have a very strong suspicion.
I love it.
The most powerful part of my demonic essence is directly from Lilith. So I've got, like I said, I think I have a multitude of genetic lines going through my system, and it's because I can tap into all of them.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. How else could that be? It only makes sense to me that this is part of our ancestry.
Well, truth in me, she's saying I've been dreaming about my teeth and blood, weird dreams. Typically, if you're dreaming about your teeth, there is an ailment in your body. People who dream about teeth, losing teeth, typically, just make sure you're,
Also, too, one of the things for me representing of teeth is not speaking your truth.
Yeah, I can see that.
And or saying things that you wish you could take back. So it can go either way. So you know what I mean? So take a look at that too. But
you having conflicts that
make sure physically the teeth are okay and everything feels okay and looks okay. And if not, that's a warning to start taking care of business. So
teeth, oral hygiene, very important, folks.
Very critical, especially right now.
Yep, it is extremely. I have a ritual before I go live. I always brush my teeth.
Me too.
And yeah, I do it. And so, a dentist goes, wow, you're actually brushing your teeth 3 times a day. Yeah. True.
Um,
And, and again, this is how we overcome these things.
yeah.
David Barry, you're just a sweet brother. He's
We're
giving
really
us thumbs
creating
up.
this matrix. It's us. We're doing it.
Yeah.
So, and they're using the media and all these black tubes um, to tell us what to believe and what to think and to keep us in a certain frequency. And if we don't buy into that and we start generating a very opposite resonance frequency, positive frequency is way stronger than negative.
Brandy 617, would you know why someone would be having negative or nightmarish dreams with 90% of the dreams they have? Well, first of all, I would probably say, Brandy, do a cleansing of your
Yeah.
bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend getting crystals in your bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and folks, this works.
Salt.
The other thing I would recommend is drawing a triangle off to the side of your bed.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if you fall in your bed and you get in on the left side, draw a triangle. At that point, you can even put it at the head of your bed. That'll trap them.
Mm-hmm. And 2, you got to look at the nightmare. Are you running? Are you in fear? What do you
Yeah,
do?
I don't know that. Yeah, that's something we have.
So, but like I said, look at that. And if you're running over and over in different situations, determined to stop and face your attacker and kick its ass.
That's part of unlocking astral travel, folks.
For sure. And you have to learn to start to consciously not run from fear. Because see, that's the subconscious mind. And it's testing you. It's running programs. And if you're not mastering a program that you were supposed to have mastered, it'll just keep coming at you in different ways until you find the key. And that key is you. It's trusting yourself. And it's knowing that you are strong enough to handle anything that comes at you.
I've tackled many a dark spirit and said, is that the best you got?
Yeah.
You know what really drives them nuts is when I tell them, I'm going to track you down when I get on the other side.
Yep.
You and I will have a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I am more powerful than you. And when I find you,
Oh, yeah.
boom! It's like,
Wayne, I keep thinking, a lot of people, when they go to these realms, these beings are saying, are you a god?
you best answer yes.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like, you need to understand you are, and you need to understand what you think about, you can bring about. And that is why they're afraid. Because our imagination is unlimited.
It's kind of when you open up that war chest you got inside you, man, I didn't know I had all these powers.
Right.
Whoa. Yeah.
I had no idea. I had a magic sword and I had no idea. I had a crystal ball.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I
had no idea I had a laser healing wand.
Can you imagine that?
Yes.
10 years ago, if I'd ever seen a book or a picture of Lilith, I'd have been frightened because I was so indoctrinated. Now I look at the woman of beauty.
Now I look at
friendship
her as some of the darkest parts of me and some of the darkest parts of the feminine construct that needs to be healed.
Yeah, and she was gone wrong.
That's what I mean. I see her as one of the bravest ever to take on that kind of crap. And
have such admiration for her.
Me too.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I mean that because the pain that I felt and the frustration and the anger, I was like, whoa, wow. And you know what? I send love every day to her.
I speak favor to her all the time. And you know what she told me? She says, you're the only one that ever spoke favor to me.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a new word.
Yeah, it is.
Construct. It's been gone for a long time. I told you, Wayne, I saw that as being such a huge effect, like beyond what we can comprehend. And it was because the power of the word.
That's it.
Brought a new word into the construct, which is so powerful.
People don't realize when I did the Liber Lilith, and she only came twice. I mean, physically in the room, but I remember she said, "Well, what do you want?"
Mhm.
I said, nothing. I said,
Right.
"You were done wrong."
Right. So
And
funny.
that's
That's the
when she
same
kissed me
energy that I
twice.
got when I
Yeah.
came into her. She looked at me like, what now?
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm cool. I don't need nothing. I'm good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to understand you better. And that when I said that to her, her whole demeanor changed and she was like confused.
Yeah.
I said, I just want to know about you. What is it like to be you? Yeah.
She'll
Those
tell
are,
you.
those are
Yeah.
profound experiences. Like, see, it
Mm.
makes me cry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's
Not
okay.
because it's her. She
Yeah.
was done wrong. And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
did something here. That book was never read before
Yeah.
until we read it here.
Her
And
story.
yeah. And once that story got out, there were a lot of channels that had misrepresented her.
Yeah.
Um, and I was glad to see that so many people have found love for her. At least in their hearts, they're realizing now that this beautiful spirit was done wrong.
She's a damaged goddess by the
Yeah,
gods.
yeah. I believe her healing. Yeah, I believe her
Yes.
healing. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. And we need to
yeah,
love her through it and say thank you for taking on such a role
yeah,
because that role was needed in this construct.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And what a role to play.
Wow.
So,
Well, Trina, this has been an hour that has gone by just lickety split.
yeah.
Wow, folks, this has been
So,
uh
guys, honor your dark, honor the light. These are part of us through our lineage.
yeah.
All of these beings are part of how we got here. And a lot of their genetics are now within us. And the ones that we can't see are the ones that are making the biggest impact upon us.
Um I can't say anything more behind that.
Mm.
Make sure to go over to Miss Trina's channel, subscribe. Trina, much love and gratitude.
You
Always love having you on. And
too.
thanks, everyone.
Love
And
everyone.
y'all are just great. Do
Family.
you want to say anything to them before we leave? Or are you going to be, when are you back on? Are you going live yet on your channel?
Not yet. I'm close, but not
Okay.
yet. And
Okay.
like I said, the internet stuff is hard too, so I'd kind of have to be home to do it anyway. So
Yep.
I'm going to work it out soon, and
Okay.
I'll have to learn. And
You'll
it'll
be over
fun.
on Brian's channel, what, on Saturdays?
Yep, Saturday.
Okay. Saturday
Yeah.
nights. Okay. That's the
Saturday night.
Trinity of Truth, right?
Yes. Yes.
The TFT. I love that. Look at Sherry. There you go, my love. Look at everyone's getting the flowers. Folks, do that.
Yay.
Do that for sure.
Oh, I send a million roses to every one of you.
Yeah, this is
May
cool,
that
folks.
frequency fill every cell in your body because it's divine.
We can do this, folks. It could hit the mainstream media. And listen, even if we could just get people for the summer of healing,
Yes.
because we're going to need it, folks.
We are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to run a new script, and what a beautiful script that one is. Wayne.
I love it. All right. Much love, everybody. Trina, stay with me, and we will see y'all tomorrow. All right. Be good, or be good at it. That's what I say. All right.